Hello, welcome to Module 29 of the course on application of spectroscopic methods in molecular structure determination. As we approach the end of the course, we'll try to solve more and more problems involving various spectroscopic techniques. In the next few modules, we will consider problem solving sessions where the spectral data from infrared spectrometry, mass spectrometry, proton and carbon-13 NMR spectroscopic data is used for solving structures of organic molecules. Let us start with problem 1. Problem 1, the molecular formula is given as C10H9NO4Br2. There is also additional information given as far as the chemical reactivity of this substance is concerned. It says on treatment with potassium iodide in acetone, this molecule undergoes a reaction to give another molecule of formula C10H9NO4. In other words, 1 mole of bromine is lost from the original molecular formula during the course of the reaction. Probably the molecule has undergone a 1,2 elimination of bromine, and therefore this compound must contain a vicinal dibromo derivative like this. In other words, the structural unit that would be responsible for the loss of bromine on treatment with potassium iodide and acetone would be a 1,2 dibromo derivative. So this structure is an important element of this particular molecule, and the evidence comes from a non-spectroscopic technique, namely the chemical reactivity of this particular compound. Now from the molecular formula of the original compound, namely C10H9NO4Br2, the degree of unsaturation is calculated as 6. This is an important information because towards the end we can check whether this satisfies this particular criteria also in terms of the structure that we obtain. Now this molecule has nitrogen, so one should check for primary and secondary amines. You can also check for nitro groups because of the nitrogen content of this particular molecule. Because of the oxygen content, one should also check for the carbonyl hydroxy because of the presence of oxygen in the molecular formula. So if the molecule contains any of this functional group, it will get revealed in the infrared spectrum. This is the infrared spectrum of this particular compound, and you can see from the region of 3000 to 4000 region, there is not a peak available here. So one can straight away rule out the possibility of hydroxy compound, amino compound, carboxylic acid functional groups, and so phenolic functional group, and so on. So the molecule does not have any kind of a OH functional group or a COOH functional group or a primary or secondary amine functional group, because the corresponding stretching frequency, namely the OH stretching frequency, the NH stretching frequencies are missing in this particular region between 3000 to 4000 inverse centimeter. However, the molecule has a carbonyl functional group, and it is evidence from the 1750 peak. So the 1750 peak could be due to a saturated ester. Saturated ester typically come in the region between 1730 and 1760, and this could be 1750 could be a right position for a saturated ester kind of a functional group. In addition to that, if you look at the band which is labeled as A and the band which is labeled as B, for example, it corresponds to 1520 inverse centimeter and 1330 inverse centimeter. Such a sharp intense peaks which are A and B could correspond to nitro functional group. So the molecule might contain a nitro functional group. So there are two important information that one can get from this infrared spectrum. That is, the molecule has a saturated ester and it also has a nitro functional group probably in the system. Now one can check for the, although the molecular formula suggests that there are 2 bromines in the molecule, one can quickly check whether the mass spectrum also confirms the presence of bromine. The mass spectrum shows the 365, 367 and 369 peaks M by Z value corresponding to the molecular formula 1:2:1 ratio with a very low intensity which is not visible in this particular spectrum. In fact, the spectrum here goes up to only 340 M by Z value. However, the spectral information is provided in the printout here, namely the 365, 367, 369 peaks in the ratio of 1:2:1 with a relative abundance of roughly 1 to 0.5% or so is mentioned here. So that is a molecular ion peak which corresponds to the molecular formula which is C10H9NO4Br2. Now in addition to that, there are peaks around 286 and 288. If the molecule loses one bromine atom at a time, then this will be a mono-bromo derivative. So the fragment, because of the loss of one bromine corresponds to 286 and 288 in the ratio roughly 1:1. Now the rest of the peaks are not labeled here as to the m by z value. For example, this would be 59 and this is something like 30 or something, and here are peaks around 168 and 176 or so. Let us come back to these questions a little later. Now this is the proton NMR spectrum of this particular compound. Then one writes away, see this particular pattern, this would correspond to a para disubstituted aromatic derivative. Now before we go into that, it is important to measure the intensities of these peaks. So one has to measure using a ruler and a pencil the height of this particular integration here, the height of this particular integration. It is roughly 1:1 ratio in terms of the proportion of the two integrals that are concerned. This one here is a singlet. Most likely this would correspond to a 3 hydrogen intensity. So if this is a 3 hydrogen intensity, this would be roughly 2 hydrogen and 2 hydrogen intensity respectively. Now there is this particular pattern in the aromatic region between 7 and 8.5 ppm tells us that this is a para disubstituted derivative, because this corresponds to a AA prime BB prime kind of a pattern is what one is seeing here. So the AA prime BB prime pattern in the aromatic region indicates that it is a para disubstituted derivative. The chemical shift of more than 8 ppm would only mean that there is an NO2, which is an electron withdrawing functional group, attached to the substituent in the skin. Bromine is also an electron withdrawing substituent. Oxygen is also an electron withdrawing substituent. But on an aromatic ring, nitro group is a powerful electron withdrawing substituent. If you have oxygen present, that will inductively electron withdraw the aromatic ring, but mesomerically it will donate the electrons to the aromatic ring. So an oxygen functional group in the aromatic ring is generally considered as an electron donating substituent. So most likely this molecule has a nitro functional group in the para position of the aromatic system. So one can consider, for example, a para disubstituted derivative with one nitro functional group. The HX and HX prime corresponds to this particular peak, which is a doublet because of the orthohydrogen that is present here, with a 7 Hertz chemical shift value is what one can measure in this particular spectrum. Now in addition to that, the molecule also, the spectrum, proton NMR spectrum also has another AB kind of a quartet in the region between 4.9 to 5.5 ppm or so. This AB quartet, the J value corresponds to roughly 14 Hertz or so. This could be due to the CHBr functional group, which we have already identified based on the chemical reactivity. These two vicinal hydrogens would correspond to an AB kind of a system, and that vicinal coupling is what is referred to as 14 Hertz coupling in this particular system. This group is already identified from the chemical reaction using potassium iodide and acetone, so it is not unreasonable to assume that this multiplet, which is an AB quartet kind of a multiplet, corresponds to this particular group here. The chemical environment of this particular hydrogen probably is such that it comes at a higher delta value compared to this particular hydrogen, which comes at a lower delta value. What is important is the integration here. The integration is roughly 1:1 ratio, but if you compare the integration of this peak with this peak here, this would be roughly 1/2 of it. In other words, this would be 2:2. 1:1 ratio is what we are talking about. So 2, 2, 1, 1, 3 is the integral ratio that we are talking about. So overall it corresponds to 9 hydrogens, which corresponds to the molecular formula in this particular system. So 3 plus 1, 4 plus 1, 5, 5 plus 4 is 9. So the molecular formula should have 9 hydrogens. So that is satisfied in this particular system. Finally, this singlet, which is appearing around 3.98 ppm or so, is a sharp singlet of 3 hydrogen intensity, and that would correspond to the COOMe peak, which is confirmed by the IR. The presence of the saturated ester is confirmed by the IR. Now the following groups have been identified. You have a para disubstituted derivative with 8.2 ppm in the aromatic 4 hydrogen intensity corresponds to this particular hydrogen here. Around 5 ppm you have a 2 hydrogen intensity corresponding to an AB quartet that would correspond to this fragment. Finally, a singlet at 3.98 ppm of 3 hydrogen intensity would correspond to this particular fragment. If you put all these fragments together, then you come up with the molecular structure which corresponds to this one. Most likely the compound structure is paranitrophenyl dibromo propionate is the methyl propionate is the name of structure of the compound that corresponds to the spectral data that is given here. Now let us confirm whether this structure is also satisfying the carbon 13 NMR spectrum. This is the carbon 13 NMR spectrum of this particular compound. Now in the carbon 13, for the carbonyl functional group, one should see the ester carbonyl functional group above 160. Around 168, a singlet is seen in the off resonance spectrum that would correspond to this particular carbonyl functional group. Then in the aromatic region, one should see 1, 2, 3, 4 signals should be seen here. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. Two of them are quaternary carbons, namely this particular carbon and the ipso carbon of the nitro functional group. And then two carbons which are CH kind of a carbon. From the intensity as well as in the off resonance multiplicity, one can tell that these are the CH carbons and these are the quaternary carbons of the aromatic ring. Now the one that is connected directly to the nitro functional group would come at a lower delta value, around 148, whereas the one that is attached to a carbon bearing the bromine would come around 142 or so. So these two peaks are assigned to the quaternary mainly because of the reason that these are less intense peak compared to this peak, and in the off resonance also one sees a singlet corresponding to these two peaks, so it must be the quaternary carbons of the aromatic ring. The carbons of the aromatic ring, which are the CH carbons, come around 123 and 129. The one that is ortho to the nitro probably is more de-shielded compared to the one next to the carbon functional group. That is why 129 is given for this particular carbon and 123 is given for the carbon adjacent to the carbon bearing the bromine atom. Finally, we should have two doublets in the aliphatic region corresponding to the CHBr kind of carbons that are present here, and those two carbons are appearing in this region corresponding to 47 ppm and 43 ppm. The ester methyl is because it is directly attached to oxygen, that would come around 53 ppm or so. So all the data that corresponds to this structure fits in the carbon 13 spectrum that is given in this particular system. So the molecule essentially is a dibromo derivative which was confirmed by the mass spectrometry data. The ester functional group and the nitro functional group were confirmed by the infrared data. The aromatic substitution pattern and the vicinal dihydrogen are confirmed by the NMR, proton NMR data to solve this particular structure. Let us move on to the next problem. The next problem, the molecular formula is C4H7OCl. The degree of unsaturation is 1, so one can straight away rule out the possibility of this being an aromatic compound. First of all, it doesn't have the required number of carbons, or even if it is a heterocyclic aromatic compound, it doesn't it is sort of a saturated compound. There is only 1 degree of unsaturation. This degree of unsaturation could be either a carbon-carbon double bond or a carbon-oxygen double bond, as you can see from the molecular formula. So one should immediately check the infrared spectrum for the presence of OH group or the absence of OH group, and a carbonyl functional group, and also a carbon-carbon double bond if that is present in the system. Now from the infrared spectrum, one can straight away tell that there is no hydroxy functional group, and there is also no carbonyl functional group because the region between 1660 to 1700 is completely blank. There is a peak at 1600 or so. This 1600 peak would be corresponding to a C double bond C kind of a stretching frequency. Now there is a band at 1200. This could very well be a CO single bond stretching frequency kind of a thing. So since it doesn't have any carbonyl functional group, most likely the unsaturation is due to C double bond C, and the C double bond C is very clearly seen for the stretching frequency coming around 1600 inverse centimeter in the infrared spectrum of this particular compound. Now let us have a look at the mass spectrum. Since chlorine is present here, mass spectrum should reveal the presence of chlorine. The molecular ion peak at 106 and 108 in the ratio of roughly 1:3:1 is shown here. And one can also see the loss of 35 mass units from the molecular ion peak. That would correspond to, in other words, the loss of 43 produces the 65 and 63 molecular. In other words, the chlorine is still being present in the system. The molecule has lost a 43 unit. The 43 unit could be either an acetyl group, but there is no carbonyl functional group as far as the infrared spectrum is concerned, so it cannot be because of acetyl functional group. It could be an isopropyl group, or it could be a vinyl ether kind of a system. The vinyl ether also will have the molecular the mass unit of 43. So because of the carbon-carbon double bond being present in the system, one could assume that it could be a vinyl ether, and the loss of the vinyl ether fragment, which corresponds to 43 loss from the molecular ion peak, which gives the 63 and 65. In fact, one can see the peak at 43 as well as in 44. The 43 would correspond to the vinyl ether, and the 44 would correspond to the vinyl alcohol. So somehow the molecule is fragmenting the vinyl ether and the vinyl alcohol portion to give 43 and 44. And if you add up these two numbers, you get the molecular ion peak. 43 plus 63 would correspond to 106. So these are essentially fragments coming from the molecular ion peak of this particular compound. Now this is the proton NMR spectrum. It's a fairly complex spectrum. It is a second order spectrum. But what can be seen in the spectrum is this particular pattern, which is a olefinic region between 6 to and 6.5 ppm. A doublet of a doublet is what is seen in the spectrum here. And the corresponding multiplet is also seen around 4 ppm or so. So this would essentially correspond to the vinyl oxy functional group. In other words, the vinyl oxy functional group, vinyl ether functional group, this particular hydrogen which is directly attached to the oxygen, where carbon bearing the oxygen would come at a higher delta value around 6.3 or 6.2 or so. And this is a doublet of a doublet is what is seen here. The doublet of a doublet is essentially because of the vicinal CH2 group, which has a cis as well as a trans relationship to the CH functional group here. So this would give the cis as well as the trans coupling constant corresponding to a doublet of a doublet. The coupling constant between any adjacent lines would correspond to the cis coupling. The coupling constant between the center of line 1 and 2 and the center of line 3 and 4 would correspond to the trans coupling in this particular instance. This region is fairly complicated. It is a second order region. In fact, this would correspond to this particular, if you look at the integration corresponds to 1:2 integration in terms of the integral ratio of this compound. And then again you have a 2:2 in terms of the integration of this multiple is concerned. So the vinyl group, the CH hydrogen comes in this region corresponding to the one integration that is shown here. The CH2 comes in this particular region at a lower region of 4 ppm corresponding to 2 hydrogen intensity. Now in the proton NMR spectrum, there is also one pattern which is a recognizable pattern. This has a mirror image relationship. In other words, it is a symmetrical pattern with respect to a mirror plane that would correspond to an AA prime BB prime kind of a pattern. So this could be essentially because the chlorine is present in the molecule, it could be a CH2Cl and a CH2O attached ethylene group is what is seen in this particular system. This ethylene group, the CH2 and the CH2 would correspond to an AA prime BB prime kind of a pattern. Second order pattern is what is expected. Now putting all these fragments together, we have evidence for the vinyl ether fragment from the mass spectrometry as well as from the proton NMR spectrometry. We have evidence for the CH2Cl from the proton NMR spectroscopy. If we combine these two together, it satisfies the molecular formula as well as the double bond equivalence of the unsaturation in this particular system. So the CH2 is a vinyl chloroethyl ether is what we are talking about in terms of the structure of this particular compound. Let us see if it also satisfies the carbon-13 data that is given. Now in the carbon-13, one should see two olefinic hydrogen, olefinic carbons, of which one of the olefinic carbons should be at a much lower delta value, because if you delocalize the oxygen lone pair onto the double bond, this particular carbon will be electron rich in nature. This is a vinyl ether. So the electron rich carbon essentially going to be highly shielded, and that comes around 89 ppm or so, which is this peak here. And it's also clearly a triplet in the off resonance spectrum, indicating that there are two hydrogens attached to that particular carbon corresponding to this particular signal, which is a triplet signal in the off resonance spectrum. This other vinylic hydrogen carbon, which is the alpha to the oxygen, because oxygen is directly attached to it, it should come at a higher delta value. it comes at 152. You can see the difference in the delta value between the two olefinic carbons. One carbon being highly electron rich is highly shielded, it's 89. The other one being directly attached to oxygen, which is an electronegative element, comes around 152. It's a very characteristic feature of this kind of highly polarized double bond, where the polarization essentially comes because of the lone pair of the oxygen being delocalized onto the double bonded carbon. The remaining two carbons come at 68 for the carbon attached to oxygen and 41 for the carbon directly attached to the chlorine. So this will be the oxygen CH2 and this will be the chlorine CH2. So essentially this satisfies the spectral data. The IR essentially tells that this is an unsaturated compound containing only a double bond, and then mass spec tells us the fragmentation pattern. Chlorine is present in the system, as well as the vinyl ether fragment is very clearly seen in the mass spectrum. And in the proton NMR spectrum we see, although we have not analyzed the proton NMR spectrum very carefully, simply this doublet of a doublet seem to indicate that there is a vinyl group that is present in the system. So it was identified from the proton NMR spectrum, and it is corroborated with the data from the mass spectrum. This region was not expanded and interpreted because it's a fairly complex second order spectrum. Nevertheless, the indication tells us that it would correspond to the CH2 functional group of the vinyl ether functional group. Here again, the beta carbon, the beta hydrogens with respect to the vinyl ether are highly shielded, and the alpha to the oxygen is highly de-shielded. So there is a large chemical shift difference between the CH and the CH2 hydrogens in this particular molecule. Finally, the CH2 CH2Cl is very clearly seen as a AA prime BB prime pattern in the proton NMR spectrum, and the entire structure is now confirmed with the carbon 13 spectrum. So what we have seen in this two problems, one is a molecule which has a very rich functional group being present in the system. The functional groups are nitro and the saturated ester and the two bromine atoms in this particular system. The second molecule is this is an aromatic molecule and this is an aliphatic system. So we had one example of aromatic system and one example of an aliphatic system. Hope the problem solving session was logical to you, and if you have any questions, please post it so that I will be able to answer it. Thank you very much for your kind attention.